Keep this part back, lift the ribs out of it, hollow belly, come forward. Again, as I mentioned yesterday in the class, the head just has to be a continuation of the spine is fine. And then, having taken something, I always do this, and this is a fun one with people, and I just say, exhale, pull your stomach back. And it tends to be, I feel the pressures coming in the shoulders, just pulling your shoulders. Now I'm just saying, just pull the stomach back. And pulling the stomach inwards will hug all the muscles towards yourself without literally pulling the shoulders. So it's so hard to do first of all, and she's still pulling physically the shoulders. I'm saying use your breath, use the diaphragm. As the diaphragm lifts, it pulls from the abdomen. It feels like you're sucking the arms and legs back into their joints. And you inhale, relax. And you just do that on the exhale. And the inhale, there's an absence of anything. That's a state of just release. And exhale, you contract. Right? So, yoga is about getting over yourself in a way. And the only way to do that is getting away from everything that you know. So use your contraction, which is what you know. On the absence of that contraction can come release. But you can't just try and escape your shell, because you end up getting more trapped in that net in a way. By pulling out of yourself more and more, you meet more and more resistance. So you set up this paradigm where you're pushing against yourself, resisting, and you're self-battling constantly. Whereas what you're wanting is to actually reverse that whole cycle and use your limitation. And your limitation is that very contraction that your body has set up. It's not you, it's not your fault that you were all tight, and we're all set up because we're tight, because contraction is the sense of individuality, which you need to a degree. So you need the contraction, but how do you work to make that contraction as free as possible? So you've got these two phases of yoga. One is the contraction of yourself as a body and as a mind, and the other is the absence of that, which is the letting go, which is the other state of yoga. Both are good, But what we tend to do is try and just simply push against that contraction because we don't find it adequate. The first thing you have to do is embrace that contraction, which is embracing where you're actually at with the yoga, and then only things can shift in their natural manner, rather than constantly trying to push out because you're not satisfied with where things are. First of all, say the inner stretch is embracing that sense of where you're at, which is at a more contracted state than a non-contracted state, and there's all degrees of that. There's always going to be form. We need form as well as stretch. And the tendency is to just think that the whole thing is an obstacle, well, the whole self is an obstacle, and I just push against that door every day, and if I push hard enough, finally that door will swing open, but it might take the hinges off as well. So use your contraction. There's nothing wrong with that. The forward fold is pulling towards yourself and back into your sense of stability. And when you let go of that, you do get release. I'm not just talking that we should more and more contract ourselves, but the release comes in the non-yoga in a way, what you're not doing, because you can't kind of do active release. It's a kind of contradiction in terms. The release comes from not doing. So like coiling a spring, once you make tension, in the absence of tension, then you get decompression. So you're trying to get compression in order to decompress, right? As if you keep pulling something apart, you don't really get the release, you just get the breakage, right? Mm-hmm. I think I've explained my point of view quite thoroughly there. Use your forward fold with your partner. The idea again is to take their feet and get them to pull back against you, but try to check that it's not pulling from the shoulder. So what you want is to pull back from your stomach rather than pull back from your arms. So it's not that, it's just from the stomach. So you get that inner hugging yourself together, and that's from pulling into the stomach, but don't let the shoulder go forward, they stay loose. Right? The tendency is first of all that everything becomes very contracted, and you have to go to the stage where you're doing it to the other extreme in order to get the happy medium in a way. Yeah? So you might find you're going the opposite, and then you just gradually bring it back to balance. So everyone most of the time, and in most places I go, is just going the opposite way, and I'm suggesting a rather extreme version, and you can find that balance together, right? Not stretching out of yourself too much, not pulling yourself into a tighter knot than you were before, but just finding a medium where you're stabilising as well as creating length in the muscle at the same time. Because length is strength. Flexibility and strength aren't really opposites. A long muscle is a strong muscle, right? They go together, they're one and the same thing. Okay, try that one.